Hey everybody, John here from the esports department, going over tonight's four-game LPL LCK slate. Um, there's some real bangers on this slate, some really, really good games that I'm excited to talk about. So I'm just going to hop right into it. The first one, Victory 5 minus 180. They're 8-4 on the season. Up against WE plus 130. They are also 8-4 on the season. So for playoff picture, I put low motivation, top four. So here's what we're looking at. Right now, WE is in sixth place. Victory 5 is in fifth place. They're essentially tied with Victory 5 having a little bit better tiebreaker in game score. But their only real benefit, they can't really fall out of the playoffs. The only real thing that they could accomplish this season is if they somehow found a way to sneak into the top four. They are like a fair way behind. They would have to catch up to either Sunning or Top. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to catch Top. So really, for me, I think their goal is to try to catch Sunning, who's 10-3, 21-13 in games. That's pretty far ahead of both of these teams. They're like a full 2 wins. They have one less loss than both of these teams, and the game score. Actually, in game score, Victory 5 is kind of close, so they might shoot for it. But point being, I don't think these teams are going to take this game. They're going to take it seriously, but I don't think they're going to be, we can't experiment with anything. This game is too important. I don't think they're going to be on that kind of level. I think they're going to be more likely to be a little bit loosey-goosey. You could see substitutions for any position that has a substitution available. You could see one in this matchup. Neither one of these teams is going to be particularly inclined to go super, super hard. As far as the numbers line up, V5 18-18 to 17-71 for WE. Goal differential per minute plus 115 for V5 plus 31 for WE. First blood, first turret, slight advantage in first blood to Victory 5, very slight advantage in first turret to WE. Dragon percentage almost identical on the dot, 56 to 57. And at 15 minutes, Victory 5 is up 1,007. WE is down 324. So what you can tell about these teams, they have the same record, but at 15 minutes, Victory 5 is pretty far ahead, and WE is like a little bit behind. So that's telling you WE's strength is in that middle to late game. If they're finding themselves in the same situation over the course of the season, not that far off of each other in gold per minute, etc., but one of them is up 1,000 gold at 15 minutes and the other one is down, probably Victory 5 struggles past the 15-minute point, and WE is pretty good past the 15-minute point. Let's just have a look. Let's see. We'll go over to Oracle's Elixir. My friend Tim Sevenhusen runs the website. He's a great guy, very smart, has a lot of fantastic stuff in here. Let's have a look at what he calls early game rating. So sorted by best early game rating, you can see Victory 5, 58.9, where Team WE is all the way down here at 45.9. So a 13-point gap there in the early game rating. But then when you go to mid-late rating, you can see WE up here at 12.1, Victory 5 down here at 5.6. So they're not a negative team in mid to late rating, but they're not nearly as good as WE. It's telling you WE is going to have a pretty big advantage when we get to that middle portion. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but somebody hit me up on Discord earlier and was talking about that, so I thought I'd show that to everybody while I was here, especially because Tim's website is fantastic. So anyway, this feels honestly like a matchup where I think I might lean towards WE. Victory 5's on a 2-game losing streak. It seems like maybe teams have started to figure out what they're doing a little bit more than people used to. WE's a reasonably smart team who works very well together, reasonably well coached. I could see them coming in here and finding an answer to Victory 5. I think I'm going to lean actually to the WE side on that one. Second matchup of the day, Sunning plus 210. They are 10-3 on the season, up against Top Esports minus 305, also 10-2 on the season. Both teams are shooting for top 2. So these are currently the teams that are in third and fourth. Both of them are either a game or less behind Invictus and only a couple games behind JDG. Getting to the final 2 is a pretty beneficial thing in the LPL playoffs. It would give you essentially like 2 buys. So teams are definitely going to want that. They're already in a position where they have 1 bye, and it's a little bit unlikely that they would fall out. I think there's a chance that Suning would fall out. It looks like Top Esports is actually incapable of falling out. That doesn't really make any sense, though. Teams have 4 more games left. How could they be locked in there? Maybe that's not what they're denoting with the green lines. That's what they used to denote. In any case, they're locked playoffs. That's what they're saying, locked playoffs. In any case, Suning is on an 8-win streak. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with this matchup is I am a guy who historically, when I saw a matchup like this, I would just say to myself, I know this team's hot recently, but Top Esports is the better team. They've been the better team all season. I'll take them. And don't get me wrong, Top Esports is a good size favorite in this matchup. But I have learned over the years that sometimes recent form is a really important thing. And coming in with an idea from like 6 weeks ago about how good I think a team is or whatever can sometimes lead me astray if their last couple matches haven't been very good. And don't get me wrong, Top Esports' last couple matches have been fine. All I'm saying with this is that I think Suning is a place where you could get some really low ownership in a big GPP today that's reasonable. They've won 8 matches in a row. They're coming in hot. I don't think you play them in a cash game. I don't think you're playing them in a super small GPP or whatever. But in a big size GPP, sure, take a shot on Suning. I think they're completely reasonable. If they do win, I expect them to score extremely, extremely well. That being said, when you look at the stats, there's really no indicator that would happen. 1789 to 1899 in gold per minute, 86 to 220 in gold differential per minute. They have a 1% better first turret, but 8% lower in dragons, and they're about 1100 further, or the 1100 behind where Top Esports would be at 15 minutes. So these first 2 matches both feel like WE feels like a good team for a medium field GPP. I think they can win this matchup. I'm not sure it's going to be one of the bloodiest. WE has not been super bloody in recent matches, but they feel like a decent mid-sized tournament dog. Suning feels like a really, really good big field dog to me. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't play them anything smaller, but I think that their chance to win versus the ownership you're going to get them at in something like the $15 or something, I think is going to be very good. We'll see if I end up being right on that, but that feels like a spot where you can get some really good ownership. I'll let the projections talk for the kill per win and death per loss for this one. It's kind of some interesting games, but the projections I think might have a better grasp on that one for this one. Looking in the LCK. So first we have HLE plus 375. They are 1-10 on the season, up against Afrika minus 650. They are 6-5 on the season. So looking over here, no motivation for HLE. They are done for the season. They are 1-10. They have no chance of making the playoffs. They might do all kinds of crazy sub stuff. They're probably going to get smashed. There's going to be a lot of reasons not to play HLE tonight. Afrika, on the other hand, are highly motivated. They are currently in the playoffs. They're just a couple games ahead of KT Rolster here, and they did win their last match. They're really going to want to hold on to this spot. Even 1 or 2 more wins is going to make such a huge difference from them, with Sandbox and KT coming up from behind them. They're going to be extremely motivated to win this match, and HLE is not going to be motivated at all. What does that mean as far as scoring goes? Honestly, I think it actually lowers the scoring of the games. I find when both teams don't care, that it increases the scoring. When one team cares and the other one doesn't, it can oftentimes decrease it. The team that cares might take things a little bit more slowly and not take as many risks when they're in a situation where they'd really like to win. This feels like a straight avoid to me, Afrika and HLE. We'll see when the projections show up, but not a high DPL for HLE, not a super high kill per win for Afrika, and I think it gets dampered down by the fact that Afrika really needs to win. So this is a matchup I think I'm just going to avoid outside of like huge fields. Last matchup of the day, Damwon Gaming and Dragon X. Damwon Gaming is minus 130, 9-2 on the season. Dragon X is minus 105, 11-1 on the season. Both I've listed as highly motivated. So this is kind of the beauty of the Korean system versus the LPL system. There will still come a time when Korean teams won't be motivated anymore, but their system keeps teams motivated for a lot longer, because in Korea, essentially, the higher you are up here, the more buys you get. Straight up, 5th to 4th gets you a buy, 4th to 3rd a buy, 3rd to 2nd a buy, 2nd to 1st a buy. So you want to be as high as you can get. And even though Damwon is sitting in second right here, they want to stay ahead of Gen G. They'd like to try to push ahead of Dragon X, especially since that's who they're playing. This is their best shot to jump up on Dragon X. They'll be motivated to win this for sure. And Dragon X probably only needs another couple wins to almost lock up that first place. So they're definitely going to want to knock their number one competitor down a little bit and stay on top. They can go a long way towards securing first place by beating Damwon here. So both very highly motivated. Looking at the stats, 1990 to 1881, so advantage Damwon. Goal differential per minute, plus 377 to plus 195. First blood, first turret. 1 point edge in first blood for Dragon X, but an almost 60 point edge in first turret for Damwon. Damwon has a 95% first turret. That is crazy. Dragon percentage, 62 to 56, in advantage of Damwon again. And at 15 minutes, DRX has this exceptional plus 1231, and even that is dwarfed by the plus 3100 of Damwon. So let's look at the last time these two teams played. Which week was it? I already looked up the results a bit ago, or I looked up the way the games went down a bit ago, but I thought I'd show you guys if I can find it. There it is. Week 4. Okay, so this is the first series between Damwon and Dragon X. The first game was 34 minutes long. It was 10-9, and it was a 200 gold lead for DRX when they won. So that can tell you right there a very close game with a very slight victory for DRX. Game 2, 24-13, kind of a stomp, almost 15,000 gold ahead for Damwon. So huge win for Damwon there. Game 3, 22-13. About 5k ahead for DRX, and it goes 31 minutes. So what we had in this first series was a very close game 1, a stomp, and then a pretty close to a stomp again in game 3. With that being said, I mean, that series kind of could have gone either way, right? Like, if Damwon wins this first game that appears to have been extremely close, that gets us, right there to Damwon winning the series. They absolutely dominated game 2, so they would have just walked away with the series 2-0 if not for losing that very close game at the beginning. This feels like a very even series to me. I will say that I think that Damwon is better at crushing lower level teams than they are at competing against some of the higher level teams. But they are 20-4 this season with only 4 game losses versus the 8 game losses of DRX. So they've lost a game in a bunch of their series where Damwon has really just been 2-0ing people other than that DRX series and one other series. You could go either way on this matchup. I mean, Damwon did lose to Gen G. They lost to Dragon X. The other 2 teams that are up here, they've lost to both of them. But they have smashed and hammered on everybody else in the league. I still think I lean Dragon X. I think Dragon X should have been the favorite in this matchup. So having them as an underdog feels like a place to go. Let's look at the pricing on them real quick. Are they the price underdog? They are, and by a fair bit. So yeah, I mean, Dragon X feels like an extremely live underdog on this slate. I would not hesitate to get yourself some Dragon X, especially in the small stack. I don't picture this series being that bloody. It was pretty bloody last time around, but I don't envision it being that bloody of a series overall. So I think I kind of like making Dragon X a small stack and fitting them in with somebody from over here, either a top esports or maybe a Victory 5. Even a Freaka has a chance to have some upside. But Dragon X feels like the small stack to me is the point I'm getting at. Let's look at some possible ownership here. I don't think that take about Dragon X is going to be controversial. I think generally people are going to see that coming. Lowest team on the slate has to be HLE, right? No real chance it's not HLE. Probably Sunning, I would think, would be second. I wouldn't be super surprised if the third lowest owned team is a Freaka. They're playing such an easy matchup, though. Probably WE. We'll put WE there. Then I'm going to put a Freaka. Then I think you probably get Dragon X up here Victory 5 with Damwon and Top Esports, I think, probably. The only question for me there is if Top Esports is too expensive for people. I mean, Knight's only 7,800, which is not one of the biggest numbers we've seen for him. In general, though, they're pretty expensive. I could see maybe Damwon passing them because of how expensive Top is comparatively, because like some of these Damwon guys are pretty cheap. Even Showmaker's only 7,400, which is pretty good. So I'm going to go with this as an expectation. I think DRX will be pretty highly owned. A lot of people will be going with them. They might even surpass Victory 5. They should be a very popular underdog. Looking at the favorites real quick, I'm interested to see where this is going to say that the points are going to be coming from, to be honest with you. Top Esports at top, Damwon, Afrika, and Victory 5 actually in 4th. In the jungle, it's Victory 5 first, then Top and Damwon. In the mid lane, Top, Damwon, Victory 5 last again. AD carry, Victory 5's back at the top. So basically what it's saying is Afrika's the lowest expectation. Either Top or Victory 5 is the highest, and Damwon is like almost universally second. Not at AD carry, but Damwon is second in they're second or third in basically every stat. Top Esports is first in everything except for the categories where V5 gets first. So those look like where you want your money to go. Either Victory 5, Top Esports, maybe a small stack of Dragon X. Maybe you can fit them with something like a slightly lower captain and fit them together with Damwon or fit them together with each other. Those are all options. But it looks like Victory 5 and Top Esports, and more so Top Esports, are the teams that are offering you the most points from the favorite role. Let's look at a possible cash lineup here. Afrika at minus 600 and Top at minus 300 are the first two that stand out. It is support captain there, but you can get 4 Top Esports players. That's nice. Is there anybody that they would fit with even better? You can get jungle captain with 4 Victory 5 if you play Victory 5 and Top Esports, and that is a Victory 5 is only minus 180, so you are making a sacrifice there. But let's see. The Afrika version was a full 27 points lower. What happens if you take them out altogether and do, say, Afrika and Victory 5? That's mid-captain. You get a 600.7 there. And for the Wilson segment, for people that are willing to play significantly bolder lineups because they have some belief, if you really believe in Dragon X, let's see who gives you the best pairing. $584 with Afrika, $608 with Top, $595 with Victory 5. So actually, the best pairing for Dragon X is with Top, and it gives you about 610 or 608. But V5 and Top Esports actually just ran out as a better expectation lineup without even playing an underdog. You're only getting a jungle captain, but it really believes in the jungle today. Victory 5 must give up, or WE must give up a lot of points in the jungle. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense to just go Victory 5 and Top Esports then. You are losing the safety of Afrika if you're someone who subscribes more to the let's play it safe in these cash games, like as safe as possible. Then you're going to want to go to the Afrika Freaks and Top Esports lineup, even though the expectation was lower. It's still kind of random who scores the most, and this is probably the safest setup you can have. So I think that's my thoughts on this slate, guys. We've got some real bangers here. I'm really excited for V5 WE and Top Esports versus Sunning. I think both of those are really great matchups. And then DRX versus Damwon is also a banger. So a lot of good matchups coming up tonight. Good luck on them, everybody. I have not seen the $15 qualifier pop up yet for anybody that was involved in the qualifier giveaway. I will try to let people know when I do see it. So Until next time, guys, I will see you later. You have a good one, and I'll be back tomorrow with a couple different videos. I'll see you then.